Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I don't know why I always pause like that, but yeah, I got to jazz the interview up, jazz the intro as well. So, yes,
That's it.
hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I sped it up that time. I'm your host, GB. Today's guest is the first Dubai wrestler. He is currently in Dubai. He is the main attraction. Please give it up for MK. How you doing today, mate? You all good?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I'm actually quite in a good mood, to be fair. I let it be known in an interview previously this week. I've actually joined the gym, so I went today as well. So, trying to shed some pounds. So, feeling motivated. It's good, but I'll probably be aching.
That's good. It's always the case, but keep up the good
at the moment,
work,
tomorrow I'll be like, I'll be at the toilet, mate. So we're not here to talk about myself and my gym or my toilet manners. We're here to talk about you, to get to know you. Let's jump straight into it and discuss you recently challenging for the Progress World Championship against Spike Trevay in Dubai. A first, first ever time it's ever been done. So even though you weren't successful, you made history by being the first. Is it Emirati? I am saying it right. Wrestler to compete for the title. So let's break this down. First, how did you feel going into the match? How did you know that you were going to be, fighting for one of the biggest titles in the world?
So originally what happened was we had Spike booked for the show before he won the Progress title.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's one of my coaches in Play Fight.
Yeah.
So with him having there, the promoter here in Dubai said that they wanted to see a teacher versus student type of match.
Oh, okay.
So having that first, I was already excited for that.
Yeah.
And then with him winning the Progress title, they had talks with Progress and having it be for the title.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the post happen, I was just literally every single emotion just ran through me.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. It's a big deal.
I remember I remember Spike even telling me that he actually fought for it, that he wanted to have the title on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just excited for the match itself.
Yeah.
And with having the Progress title be on the line, I was just nervous but excited.
I can imagine.
Having that moment as well, share that moment with Spike, especially being one of my coaches, and both of us making history together is just still so surreal to me.
Yeah. Oh no, I can imagine feeling top of the world. I mean, doing the teacher versus the student. I mean, that's awesome itself. But to be fighting for the Progress World Championship, just icing on the cake in a way. And Spike Trevay, I mean, I know he's not necessarily the most popular person in the UK wrestling scene, but he is bloody good at what he does, and he doesn't care about people's opinions, and that's what makes him special. But for him to be a coach as well, I mean, if you can say something nice about him, or will he deny it?
He would deny it, but I have to say that he is actually one of the most genuine and amazing people you meet outside of the ring as well. He wants to see all of his students succeed. He wants to see that, and he will hate me for saying this because he'll just he'll completely deny it. But
he might message me, go out his way to say, I'd rather you take that episode down if you can.
But honestly, just working with Spike, it's just amazing. Just sharing that ring with him, sharing that moment. Couldn't have asked for a better moment with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I made its way through Twitter as well. I'm in Progress Share themselves, and obviously, I got some buzz as well, and obviously, I'll get to speak to you about it as well. So let's talk about the aftermath of the match. Did you have any friends or family there, by the way?
I did have my nieces actually came to watch with
nice.
with my sister and some of my other family members too. They were there. It's hard to explain to kids that wrestling is scripted, so they were very disappointed.
Getting hurt.
why did like one of my relatives actually
Yeah.
started crying
Yeah.
because she was like young, and she was just like, oh, he's gonna end up in the hospital. He's gonna end up in the hospital. Like she just started crying.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad, but like my sister tried to like calm her down, and yeah.
Was that the first time they've seen you wrestle live, by the way?
So some of them, yes, but my nieces, they've been to shows before as well. So
yeah. Oh, okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, how do you think you did personally? I know you was unsuccessful. You made history, and you're still quite, it's early days for you in your career, so it's not necessarily a bad thing you lost, but I want to hear about your experiences.
My experience, I'm always harder on myself when it comes to matches. I always rewatch and pinpoint, and I'm just like, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. But I had Spike come to me after the match and tell me amazing job and stuff. It's still like having that match alone, like first time I asked you to challenge for the Progress title, let alone a UK championship. So
it's a big
just
deal.
to have that moment. Yeah, I still feel like I'm dreaming, like in a way. Like honestly, I feel like I didn't do that. I felt like that was a dream.
Nah, that's cool. I
getting
love it. The fact that you're kind of giddy about it, but like you're not sort of come away with like being big-headed about it. Yeah, I did that. But you're like, you're embracing it. You're still being humble. That's awesome. And the fact that you still pick apart your matches and sort of dissect it and break it down. Like, okay, I can learn from this. I can improve from that. That's good. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. But yeah, like the match went really well. It should be up soon.
Looking forward to seeing it. I've only seen a bit like when you jump on him, but I want to see the full match. That I'll have to say definitely.
Yeah, it should be up soon in a couple of weeks, I believe. But,
awesome. What I'll do is I'll add your details in the description below, but we'll get to that after the interview, and so they can keep up to date with you. But let's rewind the clocks and actually let's discover what made you a fan of wrestling in the first place.
It's actually a really funny story. I actually grew up and actually hated wrestling at the start, just because my brothers would watch it.
Title, and you're like, yeah, I actually hated it.
It's a funny story because I'm the youngest of four, and my two eldest brothers, they were watching wrestling all the time growing up, and they would actually beat me up. Like they would try out the moves on me. So I was just like, I hate this. Yeah, I was just like, I hate this. But ever since school, one of my best friends till this very day, he showed me, like, he reintroduced me to wrestling again. And that's when I just like fell in love with it again. Like I fell in love with it. Yeah, it started from there.
When your friend did reintroduce you to wrestling,
playing the video game.
I was going to say, like, when he did reintroduce you to wrestling and you sort of actually fell in love with it, sort of paid attention to it a bit more as opposed to having all the moves, done to you. Who were some of the people that you found yourself sort of admiring and becoming a fan of?
So, funny enough, I really, really, really loved Trish Stratus. Trish was one of my idols growing up. Just everything that she did in the ring,
Just great.
Just loved the moves. Yeah. And just loved Trish. And then I started going into the route of liking Evan Bourne, so Matt Sydal. Just because during the time I felt like it was different to what you see regularly, right?
Yeah, especially when that period, like Cena and Orton and Triple H, and you got Evan Bourne just doing things that you wouldn't necessarily see anyone, not everyone doing. So unique.
Exactly. So that's what I just enjoyed watching him wrestle, and just started falling in love with wrestling as it progressed.
Awesome.
And now we're here.
What actually is there like an individual, or is there like a moment that kind of inspired you to want to become a professional wrestler?
So we've always loved watching wrestling, and I remember back in 2013,
Mhm.
they had this unknown show. I even forgot the name of the show that they brought to Dubai for the first time. And it was unknown. It was like this huge arena, but literally probably just 50 people in attendance. And it was this huge arena, right?
Yeah.
And a guy comes up to us and is just like, are you interested in potentially wrestling? And me and my friend, we were there in attendance. We're just like, yeah, for sure. Like, we'll give it a try. And I remember a month later, he would, because he took our details, he
Mhm.
messaged us on Facebook, and he was just like, I'm opening up a school, come down. We're like, okay, sure. And funny enough, it was on a boxing ring. So
Bloody
it
hell.
wasn't really good. Yeah.
This is kind of
So
some form of a ring in a way. Like, you get people that do it in
that's
trampolines,
true,
so
but
I kind of consider that an improvement.
yeah, that's true. So he was our first trainer.
Yeah.
We started back in, yeah, so it was October 2013.
Hmm.
And we started training then. With all due respect to him, won't mention the name,
No, that's
but
fine.
with all due respect to him, like he just taught us a certain amount and we couldn't like elevate from there.
Yeah.
So that's when I started going to, so when I got the opportunity to come to the UK,
Mhm.
I originally went to London School of Lucha for a few
I've got,
sessions.
had a few guests on that.
Uh,
It's coming up at the moment. I really like it.
yeah. So I went there for a few sessions during like
Mhm.
my studies. Um, and then the whole pandemic thing happened, and I had to be back here in Dubai. And then when I came back recently for my master's degree, I joined Play Fight. So I did Play Fight for a whole year, and I'm currently in Dubai right now. So
Nice. I want to break that down a little bit with the person that did teach you.
okay.
I know you can't. We will not name them, but had they had a real wrestling experience themselves, or was it just sort of they only knew the basics themselves?
So he was in OVW for like a brief amount of time.
Yeah.
So he did get the essential training, and he was a proper trainer, you know. So like he did teach us the fundamentals,
Yeah.
but we sort of couldn't like elevate from that.
Mm. No
So
real growth there. So
that
you
was
kind
a
of just didn't want to be stuck.
yeah, and there wasn't like any like proper scheduling to classes. So like
Mhm.
it was literally just everyone would come in and they would train. So like even if we have newer people come in,
Oh, what? So everyone just
it
be
will
mixed,
just
kind
be
of like
like
beginners and pros
yeah.
and whatever.
So I
No,
think that
it's a
was
bit of
the
a mess.
issue because yeah. But I think he was still learning, and like he was still learning to figure out the whole school thing, like with teaching wrestling and stuff. But
No, no,
yeah.
awesome. During that period of time, I know you've kind of skipped a bit, but I want to sort of go into it. Yeah, actually, I might be wrong, but a tryout at WWE in Dubai, and a former guest of the show, Sunset Skip, great lad, really, really funny guy. Did you attend that? You didn't you? Just double checking.
I didn't attend the tryout. I wasn't called for the tryout,
It wasn't.
but uh, my best friend,
Hmm.
my best friend who reintroduced me to wrestling, he's the one that was on it. His
Oh, okay.
handle is Fayez. Uh, he's amazing. Like great guy. He also like came to play fight with me. We did the whole training thing together. He was called for the tryout. So
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. Was that when you quite kind of early on though? But now you're obviously a bit more experienced now. I mean, if you had the opportunity, would you sort of jump at it if there was another try? Not necessarily just WWE, but it could be AEW, Impact. The list goes on and on. Even Progress or whatever.
for sure, like any opportunity that comes my way, obviously I'll just take it and try
Mm.
my best at it, right? But back then also because I was going through an injury.
Oh, what
Uh
bad timing then?
yeah. It's fine. I mean, I wasn't really physically fit as well as like during my starting time.
Yeah.
Like I was actually very, very overweight, like really overweight, like
Go
to
ahead.
the point
Malcolm
of
X,
like,
man.
oh no, come on, you look great.
My
But
man.
I know, like, yeah, because like I was really, really overweight back then. Wasn't like ring, like my things that I could do in the ring was like very limited as well.
Yeah.
That's when I got injured as well, because like I got a back injury because I believe it was from like being overweight, the boxing ring, all of that collective together, you know?
Mm.
So I was injured for a little bit. But yeah,
But you've
I
overcome that.
lost all the weight.
I want to
Yeah.
get your first impressions of when you did come to the UK and trained. What were some of the things that you noticed straight away that were so different to what you experienced in Dubai? Like sort of terms of like the terminology, the training, the coaches, and just I just want to hear your experiences when you first came to the UK and trained.
It was completely different. Like I remember starting in Dubai, when we first started training, it was literally just the two of us,
Mm-hmm.
me and one of my really close friends. It was just the two of us for a little while. Then we'd like have a few people join in. It was probably a big, huge class that we would have. We're like 10 people.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Lucha for the first time, and it was just all these talented trainees there. And it was like 30, I think 30. And I felt so intimidated, and I was like so lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know if I can like do this, you know, like it was like it was very intimidating, and especially
Okay, I
with
can imagine. I can
Lucha,
imagine.
especially with Lucha as well, like with us just knowing the fundamentals.
Yeah.
I go in there, and the first thing they were teaching us were to do her Quranas. And I was there like, am I really gonna do a Hurricane right now? You
Could we do
know?
anything else? Could we just do like an arm bar? We just keep it simple.
But yeah, it's just like the thought process as well. It's like putting the Hurricanes aside, you know, like when it comes to tech, when it comes to just psychology itself,
Hmm.
I feel like I was just like wowed by like the experience that they had, the knowledge that they had. And I was just like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. You know, like I
Yeah.
was learning more than I was back home. Like, so.
When did you make your in-ring debut? I know we sort of talked about the training and you come to the UK and the training in Dubai and the differences, but when is it you actually made your official in-ring debut?
So, funny story. When we were training at that boxing ring,
Yeah.
they used to hold, I don't know if this is considered an in-ring debut, but like the first time I performed in front of a crowd was in 2014. It was June or May, like around that time of 2014. And it was just like it was like about 7, 8 months after we first started training.
Hmm.
And they were holding this boxing MMA type event. And they were like, oh, since you rent out the ring and like you're a part of this place, you can have like a showcase match during it. And keep in mind, these are all like MMA fans. So
Yeah.
it's already intimidating
Oh, they're gonna
to
hate it, aren't they?
basically right? So we had like this 5 minute slot,
Yeah.
me and my friend, and we just like showcased it there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't the best experience, especially as a debut, with them just like making fun, and you can just hear that,
Yeah. Oh,
you
it's
can
funny.
just hear people
Bring out the
like
MMA, get out the
like
ring. Like,
they wouldn't. Yeah, they're like it's big. And they'd be like, oh, John Cena, because that's the only wrestler they would know, like pro wrestler they would know.
should have replied,
We
Randy
just get
Orton.
that, but
I can stay in the ring here too and shout wrestlers' names.
our official showcase, like a trainee show, I would say, was in 2015. We did a whole pro wrestling thing here in Dubai. And yeah.
Was that in
doing
an actual wrestling ring, by the way? Was that in a proper ring?
Not yet. I was still in a boxing ring.
Not left the boxing ring.
Yeah. Nope. Until it was the end of, towards the end of 2018, that's when we had a proper ring. And that's when we were doing like a couple of shows and here and
there. So it took you what, about a couple of years to actually wrestle in a proper ring?
Building the scene here in Dubai was a difficult process. But right now, I think it's going great because we have WrestleFest DXB. And ever since WrestleFest DXB started, we started getting more eyes towards like wrestling in Dubai, which is everything like, we've like collectively worked towards.
Yeah.
And we had Dan Maloney come in like the second show.
Oh man, he's got one of the best power drivers in the game. I don't even know how he does it. It's just it's a thing of beauty every time I see it.
I know, it's like amazing. So we started WrestleFest in March of this year.
Yeah.
And it's just been going up, and hopefully going up even more.
Just bringing like more names and more eyes and.
Yeah, so we had Maloney come in the May show, so like the second show that we've done, and then we had Tucker from who was briefly in NXT UK.
Rings a bell, yeah.
Come over. He came over alongside with Spike in our recent show, which was just this past Saturday.
But it's cool though. I mean, if it goes well for them, obviously they'll tell people, yeah, awesome, go out there. And then, the more names you get there, not just the names, but just more of a reputation you guys get as well. Like with producing just solid content, on a consistent basis. And then it's just gonna bring attention. And hopefully, like just even this interview can just, lure more people just into your social media, and when they'll go on your social media, they'll see, the wrestling Dubai.
Definitely. And like we also have the next event coming up. We have the first ever women's match in Dubai. So that's going to be really exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's Alex Windsor versus Charlie Morgan. They're both going to be on the show.
Great talent. Charlie Morgan's awesome. That's awesome, man. I like it though. Just like continually just looking on the up. And to just make history, which you have been involved yourself on our Saturday. Do you have any specific career goals as we are talking about history making? Is there anything, not just necessarily like I want to be here in 5 years, but is there certain things like certain countries you want to go to, certain promotions, even certain talent that you would like to get in the ring with?
Ooh, I do have a few goals. So I remember speaking to my friend when we first moved to the UK. We would go to progress shows. So getting on a progress show is a huge goal of mine. I mean, I did just have a title match, for the progress title.
I mean, like if they weren't comfortable with it, they'd say no. So, but the fact that they let it happen, so 1 foot in the door already.
Hopefully you might see me soon in a progress ring one day. Who knows? I would love to be in progress. Talent-wise, I would love to have a match with Cara Noir, which is also one of my coaches.
Hey, I just say because Cara Noir, what a gimmick! So good as well. Like just his entrance alone, so cool.
Honestly, like that's the dream match I would say right now. That I really want to happen. So hopefully in the near future, who knows?
Hopefully, maybe we should tag him on social media and make this happen. Any promoters? Well, not promoters. In progress when he comes back. Definitely.
To have a match with Cara would just be amazing. I mean, learning from Tom and Stockens, like learning from him already is just like amazing, and just to like. If I can get that match with him, it will just be a full circle moment, and it'll just Yeah, it's one of my dreams right now. So.
I like it. I like it. Kind of while. That'd be a good match, though, I reckon.
We'll see.
But I'll beat that
I
one.
hope
Like,
so.
we have a
I
match.
mean,
We have a match. Just did the podcast, and I think it should happen now. What you call it, podcast? Don't forget to plug that. Wait,
definitely.
Nah, I'm joking. Nah, I'm joking. But what about any countries that you'd like to go to, like Japan, America, Canada?
Honestly, any opportunity comes my way. Like Japan, I would love to wrestle in Japan. To have a match there would be amazing. I can't think of like certain promotions other than Progress or Rev Pro, or like I feel like those two promotions are like something that I would want to get
I mean,
on.
with Red Pro, they've opened up the school now in London, so I think they opened that. I think it was last week actually.
That's true.
The school, yeah. I don't remember where in London now. I literally had Alf Edwards. I feel bad now. He literally told me who it was. I feel bad now. But yeah, it's in London. That's the main thing. That's because this is literally just gonna be literally like for the next 10 minutes while I have Google in front of me. Just that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But yeah, the point I'm making is Rev Pro School London. There you go. Another opportunity for you.
Definitely, yeah. But let's see when I'm back in London, because right now I'm going to be in Dubai for a while. So
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. With your moniker, I mean, if you can correct me if it isn't moniker, so something that you genuinely believe in. Main attraction. Why do you refer to yourself as the main attraction?
Spill
the beans.
Okay. So when I first started, I had a gimmick that I wasn't really happy about. I went by as the trickster, and I was just this deranged clown. Messy face paint that did not look good at all.
Do you have like a do you actually have a fear of clowns by any chance?
I don't. No, not really. But
I just want to mates. I won't say his name,
like, very ironic, right?
He hates clowns. Like, can't even watch a Batman film.
Oh no,
I'm not going to say his name, but if he's listening to it, be like, "Oh, thank you for not saying my name. So you're welcome." But now continue. So I'm just sidetracking it.
That's fine. Yeah, I used to go by as a trickster. Was not happy with the gimmick. It was like my first trainer who was just like, go with over the top gimmicks. That's what's gonna get you far. That's what's gonna get you far. I'm just like, okay, what can I do? So I was just went with the trickster. And then when the pandemic happened, when wrestling just like completely, completely like went down for like a little bit. That's when I was speaking with. That's when I was speaking with one of my good friends, Nova. And we're just like trying to come up with something different. And I was just like, I want to do something very cocky, very like, because I went essentially as a heel.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just do something that's very celebrity-like, that's very like full of himself. And he actually helped me come up with the name, The Main Attraction.
Why is like no one's not I'm aware of has used it? I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I know. That's why he was just like, he even like thought of it. He was just like, hey.
I mean, I'm not saying in a bad way. It's a really cool moniker. I'm just surprised no one that I know uses it. So fair enough.
Yeah. So he came up with it, and then he was just like, I think it suits you because like, like you are the main attraction in a way, because like of all the struggles that you've like endured in the past, like how far you've come right now with like your weight loss, your like training like really hard to try to get wrestling like on the map here in UAE as well.
Your injuries you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, my injuries, like all of that is just like, I think it just like suits so perfectly. And I was just like, okay, let's run with it. And we're here now.
Here you are. So, wicked. So, main attraction, MK. I'm going to ask you one last question. It's a fun question for everyone. Different answer for this one. So, let's go. 3 dream dinner guests for your dream party. It can be wrestling related if you want to stick with it. It's all up to you. It's your party. You can pick 3. If you can, give a reason as to why you want them at your dream dinner party.
Free dinner. Okay. I would just say, I mean, it probably can easily be done, but I would say Cara Noir.
Brownie points, but he is awesome, to be fair, so I'll let you off.
Yeah. I would say Cara Noir and Spike Gervais because with both of them, I just want to constantly learn from both of them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly speaking, not trying to like get brownie
I don't
points
have
here,
it in
but,
me to like, if I see Spike at a show, because I haven't actually been in progress for a while. I'm actually going to my first show in a couple of years because of the pandemic and just sort of being busy. But I'm going Tuesday. But
yeah.
when I see Spike like around like in between shows stuff, I'll be like, we want to get a picture of him, but a bit worried he's coming to piss off. He's
No,
that
no,
good.
you should go up to him. You should go up to him. Yeah, honestly, I cannot
So
stop
Spike,
like just
Gervais, Cara Noir. Who's number 3? I think we're going to need a third person to break them up.
Who's the third person? This is gonna be a difficult one. I would have to go with very random, but Alexa Bliss.
Not a bad answer. Didn't expect that one. But why Alexa Bliss?
Just ever since like her goddess era, like when she had that going on, like when I was a heel as well, like I would just take inspiration from her.
She's
One of my
brilliant. I'm
moves
so
as
glad she
well.
stopped the Fiend stuff. I hated that. Hated it.
Yeah. So one of my moves, actually, I do the Twisted Bliss off the top as well. So I just like took that from her. She did like inspire a lot of like the main attraction during the heel era. So just took a little bit from her.
No,
yeah,
cool.
I would say
I like Alexa Bliss. I'm so glad the gimmick stopped. Sorry, I just like hated it. I was actually meeting someone about it not long ago.
I know.
Like, so glad she returns. I mean, she's still got the doll, but I'm fine with that because that makes money. But she's not doing the on the swing and acting like she's a schoolgirl. Thank fuck for that. So this is me just being a complete mark and just wow. But yeah,
no, that's fine.
That's cool. That's cool. So that's events. We've got Alexa Bliss, Spike Gervais, and Cara Noir. Love it. Love it. There's an animation or graphic there to be made. But no, cool. MK, thank you for coming on. Been a blast. Much appreciated. I know we actually had technical difficulties before, but I think we've done pretty well, to be fair. I think the audio has been pretty good. I think the video might be here and there, but it won't disrupt anyone that listens to this interview. So I'm happy about that. And I feel like I got to know you as well. So, but if the fans and the listeners want to keep up to date with you, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Main Attraction MK on Instagram. I believe that's my handle. I even forgot my handle. Yeah, Main Attraction MK on Instagram.
Just type it in, hope for the best.
Yeah, and MK Attraction on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, I myself, I'll be keeping up to date with you and well. I'm looking forward to seeing the match in full. Can't wait for that. So please, when it comes out, tag me, send it to me, whatever, and I'll share it myself. But I'll be watching it first, and I want to see your performance as well. So it's good to see, that you're already had a title shot for one of the biggest titles in the world. And I'm not just saying that just because you're here and I'm going Progress on Tuesday. It genuinely is one of the biggest titles in the world of wrestling. I genuinely mean that. It's a world title. So there you go. Spike Gervais. I hope you don't kick off because we've actually been nice about you. But no, I'm joking. But he's top talent, but you're top talent as well. But MK, thanks for coming on. Been an absolute blast having a laugh and a chat with you. For everyone that has listened to this episode, there'll be more episodes of What Do You Call It podcast coming out next week. For now, I hope everyone has a good weekend, day, evening, morning, whenever you listen to this episode. Just take care of yourself. Take care. Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hi there, guys. I'm Ruby Roberts, and I'm on the Would You Tryout podcast.
Also known in England and everywhere else outside of Scotland, What Do You Call It podcast. You heard.